Are we ready?
Ready.
All right. You might have heard about the recent Exxon oil spill in Mayflower, Arkansas, or the Gulf of Mexico, or the one in Kalamazoo, Michigan, or that one in Little Buffalo, Alberta, or the what? You get the point. So the heads of the oil companies, I'll call them psychopathic butthole-faced greed monkeys, or PBGMs for short, make billions of dollars a year for their companies. These companies also get subsidies from the taxpayer to the tune of anywhere between $10 and $50 billion. Then, when asked to pay taxes back to the society they've pillaged, the PBGMs look at us as if they've been asked to spend a weekend bathing the homeless.
Help yourself, but stay above the equator.
According to Citizens for Tax Justice, between 2008 and 2010, ExxonMobil paid a tax rate of 0.4%. Then, when they spill oil across a town like Mayflower, Arkansas, they do a great job of pretending to clean it up with big paper towels and funny hats and masks and hoses. They put on quite a performance. I call it a performance because there's a deep, dark secret about oil that the PBGMs really don't want you to know. You can't clean up oil. Not really, not in the real world, not when it's mixed with water, soil, and otters and shit. It's fucking impossible. You can clean up some of it, you can push it around a little, but it ain't gonna magically subtract itself from the water and land. So what Exxon and BP do is they make it look like they're cleaning it up. Just like it looks like that magician ripped the head off that bunny rabbit, and it looks like the guy punted that football across a highway and into a basketball hoop in that viral video that has a mere 12,743,000 more views than this video will ever get. So even though they put on a little show, they would prefer you don't see it at all. And this is why BP held the media back from the Gulf of Mexico, even going to the trouble of hiding oil-covered dolphin carcasses, which is really more of a specialty skill, you know? Not many colleges even let you major in it anymore. It's gotta be a labor of love. And Exxon fought the media back from this recent Arkansas spill, too. They even got the FAA to declare a no-fly zone over the spill. You know the only other events that were so gruesome they wouldn't even allow planes to fly overhead? 9/11, the eviction of Occupy, and last year's Adam Sandler film, That's My Boy.
Holy cow, that's my boy.
I still have PTSD from that film. But luckily, Exxon will tell you the stuff they spilled in Arkansas, it's not oil. There was no oil spill. It's called bitumen, chemicals mixed with Canadian tar sands. It's even more toxic than oil. And yet the Koch brothers and TransCanada and Exxon and so many others are salivating at the idea of pumping this shit across the continental US in the proposed tar sands pipeline, aka the Keystone XL, aka the nail in the coffin for climate change. A rupture in the Keystone pipeline would make the Arkansas cleanup look like wiping dog shit off your shoe. Bitumen is a vicious motherfucker, and it ain't gonna be cleaned up by a few quicker picker-uppers. Wait a second, I thought we were talking about oil. How do we get to climate change? I'm glad you asked. A good man to talk to about that is NASA scientist James Hansen, who has told us for years that the tar sands contain twice the amount of carbon dioxide emitted by global oil use in our entire history. And if we fully exploit them, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere would be truly catastrophic, killing off between 20 and 50% of the planet's species. And I know a lot of you don't care about that, but here's the thing. It would also probably ruin your bachelor party.
Sorry, bro.
I hope that celebratory blow-up doll works as a raft because your town's probably gonna be underwater.
Oh, not to worry. I use BP paper towels. These are the same paper towels used to clean up all of your favorite oil spills, like the Exxon Valdez, or the Gulf Coast oil spill, or the Mayflower, Arkansas spill. If these paper towels can handle that kind of mess, well, they can definitely clean up my messes, including orange juice, muddy footprints, And sriracha. BP paper towels, the quicker fucker-upper.
Paper towels may not clean up all of orange juice spill. Orange juice may remain in location for upwards of 20 to 30 years. Orange juice may cause cancer in family members. If any of your pets die, it's probably due to leftover orange juice. Orange juice may settle to the bottom of your water supply. Do not get near or smell orange juice. Do not tell your friends about orange juice. BP reserves the right to send our own BP doctors to examine you and tell you that you are fine and not dying. Do not speak to the media. If you find a dead dolphin in your orange juice, call BP immediately and ask for their dolphin recovery team.
This is hate mail. This is where my friend Henry, who also does my makeup, comes down here and reads me my hate mail. So what do we have today?
Obviously, you have an agenda. This was a bad accident. Exxon did not want it to happen. They are spending millions of dollars to clean it up and restore the land to its original state. I noticed that you failed to talk about the successful operations that prevented the oil from reaching the main body of Lake Conway. Only a small section of Lake Conway was damaged.
Yes, Exxon does a brilliant job of cleaning up these areas. Just ask Prince William Sound in Alaska how well they've done at cleaning up and restoring that area. Exxon spent, what, $500 million, I think it was, to clean up the Exxon Valdez, which is what they make in an afternoon. In a fucking afternoon. Although you are right about one thing. I do have an agenda. The truth. All right, that was cheesy. That was, what am I, fucking Dick Tracy? That was cheesy, wasn't that cheesy?
That was cheesy. But what really bothers me is these spills happen, you never get the whole truth, because the oil companies are afraid that if the American public goes looking for another mode of transportation, the profits go down the toilet.
Couldn't have said it better myself. I'm here with Chris Hedges, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, author of Days of Destruction, Days of Revolt.
Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges. Chris Hedges.
Thanks for making it to my library, Chris. Palm, it only took him 5 years, but he did give a climate change speech.
About 40% of America's carbon pollution comes from our power plants.
Well, let's be clear what the message of that speech was, which is fracking is good.
Yeah.
You know, so great. I mean,
and we'll pass the Keystone Pipeline if my people say it's okay.
Well, and guess what is happening? They've used this subterfuge of natural gas and energy independence as a kind of way to do it.
That's how we'll win the future.
Obama is part of the problem. You know, this political theater is effective because people focus on rhetoric or focus on personalities and don't actually examine structures of power.
He is a good speaker.
He's very slick. I mean, they have a good PR machine. The continuation of fracking means that one day we'll pay more for water than we pay for gas. We're destroying our most vital resources. It's as
and
if,
methane's more harmful to the
of course, methane that is being released into the atmosphere 25 times more potent than any other form of greenhouse gas. So,
and what about this Trans-Pacific Partnership, which seems to be moving forward, that will allow companies to sue the states if they can't get their profits?
And that's how they're working, whether it's in India, whether it's here, whether it's anywhere else. Corporations can seize public and private land by eminent domain. There are no mechanisms now within the formal structures of power to hold this cannibalization of what's left, unless there is a radical reconfiguration of our relationship to each other and our relationship to the environment, then the human species is doomed. So we have to create mechanisms by which companies like ExxonMobil don't exist and criminals like Lloyd Blankfein spend the rest of their years behind bars.
What gives you hope?
Well, you can't talk about hope unless, one, you understand the configurations of power, because then you're responding to an illusion. And you can't talk about hope unless you actively resist.
Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah.
I really appreciate it.